You're not where you want to be in your music career because you're not focused. And you're not focused because you're overwhelmed. And you're overwhelmed because you're drowning in unnecessary information and infinite possibilities. In today's video, I'll talk about why this is and how we can fix it. So, for example, if you want to be a dubstep artist and you buy a complete course about electronic music production, or you go and study it in college or university, you can get 200 hours of content about everything possible. You get PDFs explaining to you how the electrical signal goes from here to there. You learn the mixing, the mastering, the synthesis, the sound design, the whatever it is. And basically all you needed to do is learn how to make a wobble bass and to put it in a way that would make sense and to know how to tell a story that gets the listener from point A to point B. Obviously there's a lot more to it, but you definitely didn't know how to put the mic to record the guitar like they teach you in every music production course. Maybe it's not even like that. Maybe you went down the tutorial route and you're just binging on YouTube to know the latest tricks to make sure you're not missing anything, and you learn about sidechaining, and then maybe I should sidechain with this instrument, and maybe when I do it like this I have a click. And now you learn about parallel processing, and you've been doing your drums wrong this whole time. Every time you learn something you feel like you've been doing it wrong, and I assume that most of the time where you see someone making a cool sound in a tutorial, you don't actually go and implement it and getting yourself another presets for your next production. If you never implement what the tutorials teach you, you're just stuck on cheap dopamine. You're doing this whole thing solely for consumption. Now, it's not that everything has to have a perfect outcome. We're musicians, we need to explore and express, and it takes a while to understand how you create the vision that you have in your head into real life, how you bring thoughts into sound waves. These are the good moments. This is where you can meet your potential in real life. But there's a trap here that happens, and you can actually mistake self-exploration for procrastination. You can mistake consuming content for progress. You can end up just like a lot of producers I know, including myself, focusing a lot on the music side and not on the building a business side, which is mainly the only side that's going to make this thing sustainable for your future self. We always think that we're being productive when we're watching tutorials, or you're being a good student where you learn so much, but you end up not making the music that you want to make in the world. You do all these other things instead of focusing on the thing that will actually move the needle forward. So what's the solution? The solution is not more information. It's not another course that you need to take, it's not another tutorial, and it's not this one technique you're missing. The solution is a system that lets you stay creative without drowning in possibilities. And this is the system I teach all of my students. It's the 3 Fs: focused, fast, and fun. And in my opinion, that's the exact sequence that separates producers that consistently take steps forward with their career and producers that stay stuck. It's not their fault. We're creative people, and there's infinite possibilities with every plugin allowing us to do whatever we want with infinite paths of exploration. But if we're looking for progress in our music career, here is what I recommend you to do. Number 1, focus. Focus comes first. You have to know where you're going. When you start something, especially nowadays, your pool of possibilities is infinite. 100 of effects, thousands of samples, and every tutorial you can ever imagine is right there for you to use. Infinite possibilities. And infinity is paralyzing. When you're focused, when you have an end goal, you shrink the pool. You eliminate unnecessary information and all the infinite possibilities. If you want to make 140 deep dubstep, you're gonna make 140 deep dubstep. You're not working on an entire album of that. You're working on one track, one story, one idea, and that makes this infinite pool shrink. You can see the end, which brings me to the next F. Fast. Fast comes second. Now that you know where you're going and what you're working on, you need to know what you're working with. And this is where most of us producers, including me for the majority of my career, waste a lot of time. You don't have to create every sound from scratch. You don't have to waste 45 minutes on making the perfect kick drum, and you don't need a new bass patch every time you're starting a track. Allow yourself to use samples, presets. Go and check out your favorite artist and see if they have products you can get from them. Your production level will immediately level up. You'll get closer to the flavor of how you want to sound like, but also you're actually giving money to the artists that you like. So go check out if the artists that you like have samples for you. Use those samples. If you want to sound like them, take their sounds and start use them and learn from them. And being fast is not about being lazy. It's about being organized and focused so you can create faster. You can arrive to where you want to get to faster. When you get to it faster, you have more fun. But I'll get to that in a second. As an artist, you want to have the creative sessions where you explore every button, where you see a tutorial and you try to implement it in your own production. All those creative sessions are very important for our soul and for your learning as an artist. You want to keep doing those so you can level up your production, gain new skills, and find your own sound. But when you do all these creative sessions, make sure you're organized so your music production sessions, when you want to produce, when you want to progress, you'll have speed. When you're harvesting from your creative sessions in an organized way, you add so much speed and productivity to your sessions that matter. Now again, I would just say, allow yourself to have 3 to 4 kicks, 4 to 5 snares. Don't need 70 kick drums, for fuck's sake. Make a library of sounds and keep reusing them. In your creative sessions, go and explore and add to that library. So when you go and produce, you can actually spend more time creating the track and less time searching for the next sound that can come. When you have something like this, it'll be way less likely that you'll drown in information and possibilities. You narrow the lens and you zoom in. Now, if you're focused and you know where you're going and you know what you're working with, you're gonna go full steam ahead. Which brings me to the third F, fun. Fun is the most important one. And this is the first thing I tell every student of mine. Because the truth is that if it's not fun, you're not going back to creating. Because if it's not fun, you wouldn't want to do it again. You wouldn't want to go back and open your door. If you don't know what you do and you're confused when you're in front of your door, you'll end up being miserable and quit. You wouldn't want to come back to do it because it was never fun to begin with. You have to have fun. It has to be something you want to do again and again. Which is probably why most artists want to explore more than they want to finish the track. You want to start another loop because it feels good. All my 1000 loops can be the proof of that. But the thing that happens when you're focused and fast is that you can switch the dopamine of novelty, of starting a loop, the dopamine of getting a good rhythm going, with dopamine of progress. And the thing that happens then, when you have fun, you'll come back more. When you come back more, you'll get better faster. And when you get better, faster, you get where you want to be in no time. Having fun is where it's at. Everything falls apart if you're not having fun. And one of the biggest reasons people don't have fun is that because they try to win battles that they don't need to win yet. You don't need to know how to mix down your track if you're just starting. That's why it's fine to use samples. That's why it's fine to use preset. By all means, get them. Put them in your projects so you can move forward and have fun and feel progress with your art. I highly recommend going back and reverse engineering how they got to the sound. Learn from these producers, learn from these presets, these samples. But if you're just starting the game, don't try to fight the final boss. If you're gonna try and fight the final boss, you'll never get into flow because you're trying to solve problems that you don't have the tools to solve yet. That's the 101 of getting into a flow state. And when you make music, that's where fun comes. You need to solve the problems that are in your level. Fight the bosses of your level. Be transparent with yourself of where you are in your production journey and go find that boss. Not the final boss, the boss of your level. Okay, so let's recap. Focused, fast, fun. Remember that you're not where you want to be because you're overwhelmed, and you're overwhelmed because you're not focused, and you're not focused because the world gives you infinite possibilities right now. Unnecessary information that distract you from where you want to go. All the samples and the tutorials, the PDFs, the plugins, this can clutter your mind. Focus on where you're going and the goals you need to make this music career work. Have everything you want to work with already ready and organized for you. So when you're working on it, you'll work on it fast. And when you'll have focused and fast work, you're gonna have fun. When you have fun, you're gonna keep wanting to come back, which will make it inevitable that you'll get to the place you want to get faster. That's how you stop yourself from being stuck and start creating the future that you want to see yourself in. Hopefully this helps. I genuinely believe in these 3 Fs, and that's what I teach every student of mine, and that's how I create my music. If this clicked with you in any way, comment below and let me know what you think. Now close this video and go make some music.